Sculptured acrylic tips by Tipex. In this video, we're going to put them to the test. I will show you a follow-up after 6 weeks of having this product, and we'll try to remove it using 2 different techniques. We'll test new styles that they have, which is short and long square nails. Hello guys, I'm Anastasia, international nail expert and educator. When my model texted me after 6 weeks, I was surprised that she still had those nails on. It's been a long time and we did long coffin nails, so that was unusual and surprising. And quick disclaimer, please do not try to repeat it because this is an extreme time, especially for such length. Recommended time is 3 to 4 weeks when you're supposed to do fill or take them off. For 1.5 months, her nails definitely look amazing. She works in a delivery company, she delivers food, so sometimes she has to carry a pretty heavy stuff, but also she has some experience in having long nails, and I definitely can tell that she's being very careful with them, so it also counts. Look how long her nails are now, but it definitely came to an extreme point and we need to take them off. I will start by clipping off the free edge with a tip cutter, and ooh, it's not easy at all. It definitely feels different, and these soft gel tips are definitely thicker and harder to clip compared to any other tips I previously worked with. Wow, they are truly so thick in the apex area. Let's measure it because I'm so curious. Now I have this special tool that measures thickness. So we have 2.4 millimeters. This is very similar to the thickness of the actual sculptured nails. Let's proceed with clipping off the free edge. If you don't have this tool, then you can also use a regular nail clippers, but please be careful, do not get too close to your nail. Then we need to file off the glossy top coat and the color. I would like to try 2 different ways of removal, sock off and filing off method. You need to do this for both methods because even if you want to soak them off in acetone, usually glossy top coats are not sock offable, so you need to file them off. If you don't have electric nail file, then you can use a hand file, ideally 100 or 80 grit. Normally I use the filing off method because for me it's just faster to file everything off with electric nail file and I don't need to wait until the product will be soaked off. But for DIY, home users, beginners, anyone who is not confident when working with electric nail file yet, definitely the soak off method will work much better. After filing off the color, I can see some lifting near the cuticle, but honestly it was expected because, like I said, this is a terrible infill overdue. 6 weeks is not the normal time for this kind of length. If you would like to check out my first video review of Tipex nails and these extensions that we did 1.5 months ago, the link will appear in the upper right corner. There were many questions under this video regarding product removal, so I'm super excited to try it with you guys now. Since Tipex tips are sculpture tips and they have thicker area near the apex, it is definitely going to take longer to soak them off. So there is option 1, you need to wait longer, or you can file off the apex area, and this is exactly what I'm doing now to reduce the time. After I'm done with filing off the majority of the product, it's time to soak them off. I will use a small piece of cotton and saturate it with acetone. And then we're going to wrap it up in the foil. Make sure that you wrap it up really well so there won't be any holes and the acetone will not be able to evaporate earlier. Wait for about 10 to 25 minutes. Exposure time really depends on how much product you filed or didn't file off, so the more product you have, the longer you need to wait. I am personally very impatient when it comes to things like this, so we're not going to wait. I will try the filing off method while we're waiting on another nails. On another nails, we have a very similar situation. There is a slight product lifting along the sidewalls and sometimes near the cuticle area. But as I filed more product of this nail, I noticed this white spot in the center. Can you see it, guys? And I was like, oh my god, is this a massive lifting right in the center of the nail? If there is some product lifting, once I will get closer to it with my electric nail file, it will easily fall off as a whole piece. but it never did, and then I realized that this was simply this textured surface of the tip that confused me a little bit. They have it underneath for a better adhesion with the nail. Whenever I'm using the filing off method, if I have a ceramic drill bit, I use it to remove the product completely. If you don't have much experience with electric nail file yet, then you can try the same, but as you get closer to the natural nail, simply switch to 180-degree hand file. Because trust me, it won't take long until you accidentally overfile the natural nail or damage it. Usually it happens very quickly. This is what her nails look like after filing off method removal. As you can see, they're perfectly fine, they look healthy, and we definitely can do a new extension. Now, what about the sock off method? It's been about 15 minutes and looks like it's socked off completely. It comes off pretty easily, it's soft. I'm using an orange wood stick to gently take off the product. Please note that if you're looking for fast and easy sock off removal, I recommend you to not use primer because primer provides a better adhesion. So yes, nails may stay longer, but also you will not be able to easily sock them off. If you're planning to use a filing off method, then it doesn't really matter, feel free to use it. After socking them off, 95% of the product easily comes off, and the rest of it we can remove using a buffer. Mine is 220 grit, and then I switch to 180 grit file to file the nail shorter. Filing off the free edge as short as possible is not necessary, but a highly recommended part of the nail prep. Because first of all, we don't want our natural nails to be seen underneath the extensions, right? Also, once the nail grow longer, they usually tend to curve, so we will have more tendency for product lifting on the free edge. And finally, it will be much easier to find a proper size of the tip and to apply it. That's why I'm filing all her nails as short as possible. Then we proceed to nail prep. Push back the cuticles with orange wood stick. Make sure that you separate the cuticle from the nail plate. Then some dry manicure. I'm using a diamond flame-shaped bit with red abrasive mark. The speed is about 16,000 rotations per minute. Once everything is neat and clean, including the sidewalls, we can trim the dead tissue with manicure scissors. Nail prep is super important, but this particular part is optional, so if you don't feel like doing it, feel free to skip it, it will not really affect the durability. Another popular comment under my first review of the Tipex tips was, it's a shame that they don't have other styles. Well, now they do. We have short square and long square tips, 120 pieces in each pack and 15 sizes. Now this is really amazing because that's what's going to make it so much easier to find a proper size. They come in these little Ziploc bags and they look so transparent, like a glass, just like these coffin tips that I tried. This is short square tips. They are pre-etched. They have this textured matte area underneath, so you don't need to prep them. And this is long square. What's really unique about these tips, they are not just thin tips like most tips that I tried before. They really have the shape of the sculptured nails. Let's use the special measuring tool to check how accurate it is. Cuticle area 0.9 millimeters. Wow, that's so thin. Free edge almost 1 millimeter. Sidewall 0.3 millimeters. What? Apex area 2 millimeters. Short square tips 0.6 millimeter near the cuticle. Free edge 0.9 millimeters. 0.2 millimeters sidewall, almost 2 millimeters on apex area. As a person who spent over a decade to compete in nail sculpting nail competitions and then judging them and training students for them, I have to say that these measurements are so accurate. The person who's behind this definitely knows a lot about nail sculpting. Meanwhile, we pick the perfect sizes for each nail. It's important for a tip to cover the nail from one sidewall to the other. Make sure that you are not missing any areas. Otherwise, they are not going to last. Then I apply dehydrator, let dry, and a thick layer of base coat. You can use any base coat that works for gel polishes. If you're planning to remove these nails by socking them off later, also make sure that you're using a sock-off base coat. Cure for 30 seconds and let's apply the tips. When I first tried these tips, it felt a little weird because when you apply the nail glue and attach it on the tip, it feels like you need a lot of nail glue because you want to fill in all this space. But then I realized this area it's not really hollow. The apex is already built inside of the tip, so you don't really need more product than usual, you need the exact same amount. This textured area underneath is also very helpful, not only in terms of adhesion, but the gel is not running too much on it, so you have a little bit more time to apply it and to control the product. If you accidentally took too much gel and there's some underneath along the sidewalls, don't worry, simply freeze cure it for 10 to 15 seconds. Clean everything you need, do not press on the nail too much at this point, and then fully cure it for another minute. Now we have our beautiful long square extensions basically within 5 minutes. It's really funny that all this process that we need to do, such as nail prep, product removal, the nail art we are doing right now, is going to take some time, but doing extensions really took us about 5 minutes. Obviously, my model likes having long nails, and also she's a fan of cool, bright designs. And I wanted to try this one for quite a while now, so finally we have this opportunity. I will be using 3 different colors, neon yellow, neon pink, and regular blue, and simply fill in the area with these colors. There's absolutely no need to use a base coat or to prep the surface of the tip. You don't need to buff it, just apply the color right away. After applying the colors without curing them, take a bigger brush and simply smudge the colors. Yes, that's it. I think it looks pretty cool already, like some kind of psychedelic design. Once you see the pattern that you like, it's very important to cure it quickly. Since I'm using gel polishes and they're slightly runny, we don't really want our perfect design to run away. I am so in my element when doing designs like this, because basically you create a mess of all colors and then you make them even more messy and it still looks cool. Few light strokes will be enough and it looks so pretty, and now we need to cure it in LED for 1 minute. This easily could be a finished 3P design. We would only need to seal it with a glossy top coat, but this is not something that I planned. I am going to use a glossy top coat, but cure it only for 20 seconds and use a unicorn chrome powder on top. I had a similar nail art on my nails a while ago, but I always wanted to try it with neon colors and slightly crazier patterns, and I think it looks so nice. You guys just seen the entire process and I shared all the secrets, but when the design is finished, I showed this video and photos to some of my friends and colleagues, and they were like, "Wow, how did you do that? That looks so cool, but I have no idea which color did you use." My model also said that everyone was paying attention to her nails, giving her compliments, and many people were also asking for a contact of her nail technician. This is what it looks like now, and all we need to do is to seal them with a glossy top coat. You can use non-acid primer on the free edge and along the sidewalls to avoid the chipping of the chrome powder. Cure for 60 seconds and that's it. Links to the products that I used will be in the description box as usual. Let me guys know what do you think about this nail art, and also I would love to read your feedbacks on Tipex by 5 Angeles if you had a chance to try them already. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my new videos. Goodbye!